Assalamu alaikum. Consider this arrangement which we discussed in the last lecture. It consists of a stator of a ferromagnetic material. On this stator, we have a set of three-phase coils. Here we have coil A dash, and 120 degrees apart from this coil, we have coil B dash, and then another 120 degrees apart from this, we have coil C dash. These coils, three coils, are supplied with three-phase currents. That is, in this coil, current IA dash flows, and in the second coil, this current flows, and in coil CC, this current flows. These currents are three-phase currents. Due to these currents, there will be magnetic fields. For example, due to this coil, the magnetic field strength is HA dash. Direction can be determined by the right hand rule. Similarly, due to current in this coil, there will be a magnetic field. The direction of that magnetic field can be determined by the right hand rule, as we discussed in the last lecture. Due to these magnetic fields, flux will flow, and flux densities due to all these magnetic fields are written over here. The flux density due to this magnetic field, it has this magnitude and this direction. Direction is towards right at an angle of 0. Due to this magnetic field, there will be flux density. Magnitude of this flux density is proportional to the current in the coil, and its angle is in this direction, that is 120 degrees. And likewise, flux density due to coil CC dash is directed in this direction, and its magnitude, this magnitude, is proportional to the current in the coil. The net flux density in this space, that is a sum of all these, vector sum of all these flux densities. And in the last lecture, we have determined the net flux density vector using graphical approach. We had added these three vectors at some discrete time instance, and we had shown that this net flux density vector has uniform magnitude, and it was rotating in counterclockwise direction. In today's lecture, we shall follow more analytical approach. We shall find vector sum of these flux density vectors using analytical approach. So let's do it. Net flux density vector is sum of all these flux density vectors, which is written over here. So how do you add vectors analytically? You decompose the vectors in horizontal component and in vertical component, and then you add up the horizontal components and vertical components to get the resultant vector. So let's decompose all these vectors in horizontal and vertical components. So this vector is Vm sine omega t. To determine the horizontal component, we multiply it by cosine of the angle, that is cosine of 0 degrees, and we represent the horizontal component by the unit vector x hat, plus sine of 0 degrees, and the vertical component is represented by y hat, the unit vector y hat. Similarly, decompose this vector into horizontal and vertical components. We have Bm sine of omega t minus 120 degrees multiplied by cosine of 120 degrees x hat, the horizontal component of this vector, plus sine of this angle 120 degrees, and unit vector in vertical direction. Similarly, decompose this vector into horizontal and vertical components. We have Bm sine of omega t minus 240 degrees. This whole multiplied by cosine of this angle 240 degrees with the unit vector in horizontal direction, and then sine of 240 degrees and unit vector in vertical direction. So what is cosine of 0 degree? That is 1, and sine of 0 degrees is 0. So to save this space on this whiteboard, I'll just erase it over here and replace it by their numerical values. Cosine of 0 is 1 and sine of 0 is 0. Similarly, cosine of 120 degrees, that is equal to minus 0.5. You can use your calculators to find it. And sine of 120 degrees, that is equal to square root of 3 divided by 2. Likewise, cosine of 240 degrees, that also comes out to be equal to minus 0.5, and sine of 240 degrees, that is minus 3 square root of 3 by 2. So we have decomposed these vectors into horizontal and vertical components. To find the resultant vector, we shall add horizontal components, all these horizontal components, and all the vertical components separately. So the horizontal component of this vector is Bm sine omega t. Horizontal component of this vector is minus 0.5 Bm sine of omega t minus 120 degrees. And horizontal component of this vector is minus 0.5. This is the horizontal component of the resultant vector. And similarly, the vertical component of the resultant vector is obtained by adding the vertical components 40 degrees, and that is the vertical component of the resultant vector. So let me erase this thing because this is no more needed. So let's further extend these trigonometric expressions. We have Vm sine omega t minus 0.5 Vm multiplied by this term. This is equal to sine omega t into cosine of 120 degrees minus cosine of 120 degrees into sine of omega t. We have expanded this term. Similarly, we expand this term minus 0.5 Vm sine omega t cosine of 240 degrees minus here I have written it incorrectly. Here it should be cosine of omega t and sine of 120 degrees. Here cosine of omega t and sine of 120 degrees. I have expanded this term, and this whole thing is the horizontal component of the resultant vector plus the vertical component, and let's also expand the terms in the vertical components. So square root of 3 by 2 Vm sine omega t, we are expanding this term, sine omega t into cosine of 120 degrees minus cosine omega t into sine of 120 degrees minus square root of 3 by 2 Bm, and expand this expression, and that is the vertical component of the resultant vector. Just use your calculator to determine the numerical values of cosine 120 degrees, sine 120 degrees, and substitute them into these expressions. And with that we shall get this thing. So this is equal to Vm sine omega t. Cosine of 120 degrees, that is minus 0.5. So this 0.5 multiplied by this 0.5 is 0.25, and this negative sign of this cosine and this negative sign is positive. That term is written over here, 1 by 4 Vm sine omega t. So after substituting the numerical values, we have this expression, the horizontal component of the resultant vector, the vertical component of the resultant vector. So this 3 by 4, square root of 3 by 4 Vm cosine omega t, and minus this one, these are cancelled out. And furthermore, in this expression, this minus square root of 3 by 4, this term is cancelled out with this one. So resultant vector, that is equal to Vm sine omega t, 1 by 4 Vm sine omega t, 1 by 4 sine Vm sine omega t. That comes out to be equal to 1.5 Vm sine omega t horizontal component of the resultant vector. And this 3 by 4 minus 3 by 4 and minus 3 by 4, that also comes out to be minus 1.5 cosine omega t vertical component of the resultant vector. So this is the resultant flux density vector. What is magnitude? V net magnitude, that is equal to square of the horizontal component plus square of the vertical component whole square root, that is 1.5 Vm square sine square omega t. Here is also Vm. So if you take this thing common, so sine square omega t plus cosine square omega t, that is equal to 1. Therefore this square is cancelled out with this square root. We have 1.5 Vm. Magnitude of the resultant flux density vector is always 1.5 Vm. Over here we have proceeded in a very general way. We are not taking a discrete time instants. That is true for all time instants t. So magnitude of the resultant flux density vector is always 1.5 Vm. What about the angle of the resultant flux density vector? Angle of the resultant flux density vector, you know, the angle is equal to tangent inverse of the vertical component, which is minus 1.5 Vm cosine omega t, and this horizontal component 1.5 Vm sine omega t, which is equal to tangent inverse of this is cancelled out with this one, minus cosine divided by sine is cotangent of omega t. Tangent inverse of a negative, that is the same as minus tangent inverse of this. So that is equal to this thing. We further know that cotangent of omega t, that is equal to cotangent of omega t, that is equal to tangent of pi by 2 minus omega t. You can verify this trigonometric relations. Tangent inverse is cancelled out with this tangent, and therefore we have omega t minus pi by 2. That is the angle of this resultant flux density vector that is changing with time. That is the resultant vector will be rotating with time. In which direction? In counterclockwise direction, because as t increases, angle will increase, and increase in angle is always taken, this angle is taken to be positive angles, these angles. You can verify the situations which we discussed in the last lecture, that is corresponding to t equal to omega t equal to 0, we have an angle of the resultant vector which is minus pi by 2. That is, we had this situation at omega t equal to 0, the resultant flux density vector was downwards. At omega t equal to 90 degrees, the angle of the resultant vector is 90 degrees minus 90 degrees is 0 degrees. And at omega t equal to 180 degrees, this angle comes out to be equal to 90 degrees, pi by 2. That is, the angle, this vector, resultant vector, is rotating in this direction. So the situation which consists of this core with a set of three-phase windings in it and supplied with three-phase currents. So the situation is exactly the same as if we had two poles over here, and this is the flux density vector due to these poles, north pole and south pole, and the situation is exactly the same as if we are rotating these poles, so that their resultant flux density vector is also rotating. And the magnitude of the resultant vector, flux density vector, is always constant. It rotates with a velocity, with an angular velocity. And what is the angular velocity equals to? Angular velocity of flux density vector is the same as the frequency, angular frequency of the supplied currents. That is, we had these currents Iaa dash was equal to Im sine omega t. So whatever is the frequency of the supplied current, the same is the speed of rotation of this flux density vector. That is the speed of the rotation of the rotating magnetic field. That is the same as the frequency of the supplied currents. Or in other words, we can say that electrical frequency is the same as frequency of rotation of the magnetic fields. That is, omega E is equal to omega m. Electrical frequency of the supplied current, speed of rotation of the magnetic fields. And this thing is true for the case when the stator has a set of three-phase windings in it. This particular stator is called a two-pole stator. We can even make multi-pole stators. In that case, we shall have instead of a single set of three-phase windings, we, for example, can have two set of three-phase windings, and likewise more set of three-phase windings. And in that case, the number of poles will also change. Number of poles will be equal to the number of set of three-phase windings. So in general, we can say that the frequency, electrical frequency, is a number of poles in the stator divided by 2 multiplied by Fm, and likewise omega E is equal to P by 2 omega m. Generally, it is a convention that this speed, instead of measuring it in rotations per second, this thing is rotations per second, that are cycles per second. Instead of measuring it in rotations per second, we measure it in revolutions per minutes. So we can just divide it with 60. So we have P divided by 120 and in revolutions per minute. Because this you already know that revolutions per minute, that is equal to 60 multiplied by revolutions per second. Revolutions, if you multiply the revolutions, this is revolutions per second, if you multiply it by 60, you will get revolutions per minute. Our Fm is simply equal to Nm by 60. So over here you have only replaced Fm with Nm by 60, where Nm, that is in revolutions per minute. So in this particular situation, what was the direction of rotation of the magnetic field? Magnetic field was rotating in counterclockwise direction. Is there any way to change the direction of rotation of this magnetic field? So yes, we can change the direction of rotation of magnetic field. So if we swap any of two windings, then the direction of rotation of the resultant flux density vector will change. That is, in previously we had this winding A dash, and this was B dash, C dash, and previously Iaa was equal to Im sine omega t, and Ib dash was equal to Im sine omega t minus 120 degrees. So if we just swap these two windings, that is, instead of supplying this current to this coil, we supply this current to this coil and this current to this coil. Swap the connections, electrical connections of any two coils, then the direction of rotation of the flux density vector will also reverse. So you need to prove this statement, and that is your assignment. Show that by the same analytical procedure, that is, swapping the electrical connections of any of two coils, the direction of rotation of flux density vector will be reversed. That you need to show analytically by the same procedure as we elaborated in today's lecture.